Welcome back to Let's Play Shadow the Hedgehog, and oh man, it's been a minute since I did the last one, but yeah, this one's gonna be a bit of an epilogue to the previous 5 episodes, since they've all been like legit playthroughs of this game, and this is the 6th time we're doing this. But it is the last story, and I'm sorry, I need to talk over the cutscenes because this video is only gonna be like 25 minutes long, and if I just leave the cutscenes to speak for themselves, I'm only probably going to get like 10 minutes of commentary in here at the most, and we can't do that. So, we already covered every path, or every like ending, not really like the variations of the endings, but we've covered a hero path, a semi-dark path, and so on and so forth. We've already done that. So we're moving on to the last story in Shadow the Hedgehog, and you might be wondering, how do you unlock this story? You have to play through the game 10 times to do this. I'm sure I've mentioned that many times, but for those of you that don't know, there are a lot of people that like to watch the first episode of a Let's Play or video series, and then they skip straight to the end. Well, if you did that, congratulations. This is probably one of the few games where you can do that, and you probably won't miss that much. I'm telling you, you can just watch the first episode and come straight to here. Hi, welcome. If you could subscribe, that'd be nice. Leave a comment, all that stuff. I'm not going to make you do it. I'm just going to appreciate it if you do it. Okay? But anyways, yeah, the last story of Shadow the Hedgehog, there's a lot. They try to cram in a lot of plot twists here, you know. This is where we learn about the origins of Black Doom and to a lesser extent, Shadow, actually, or I don't know about greater or lesser extent. Also get this epic-looking cutscene, like, good lord. And this is 25 minutes, and it's gonna be one level, one rather long level, one boss fight, the rest of it is cutscenes. I don't know why, during this generation of the Sonic the Hedgehog series, to a lesser extent, even the newer games are a little guilty of it, but not as much, I think. They really went in hard on story and narrative, and my god, Shadow the Hedgehog is like the culmination of the edginess of Sonic Adventure 2 and what that was going for, you know? Or, to an extent, anyway, because Sonic Adventure 1 wasn't really all that edgy with the story. And you could justify it because you had to play through the game with 6 different characters, and thus you gained 6 different perspectives. Mind you, only maybe 3 or 4 of those perspectives were important to the story of Sonic Adventure 1. That's besides, you know, as far as like the story beats go. Yeah. And this is the cutscene where we find out that Black Doom donated his blood in order to help create Shadow. So I guess in a way, this makes Shadow Black Doom's son. Which is very funny to think about. And Shadow's just like, in such disbelief about it. This cutscene's hilarious. And there's gonna be a part coming up where, like, all of the characters are supposed to be, like, frozen. Actually, I think it's coming up here in a minute, because I think Knuckles is gonna do something fancy here in a minute. Look at Knuckles. Look at Knuckles go, yeah. This is when all the characters get, quote-unquote, frozen by, like, some sort of gas. Oh, yeah, this gas, once released, is quickly absorbed into your bloodstream. Oh my gosh. Really should not be trying to imitate Black Doom. There's only one person that can do that really well without damaging his throat, and it's the voice actor of Goku in Dragon Ball Z in the English dub. Good lord, Sean Schummel. Yeah, he's the man. Man, oh god, I could never do that. Not that I necessarily want to, but it's possible, so it's funny. Like, but anyways, yeah, here comes the swarm of aliens, and I'm pretty sure this isn't hentai. No, we're still in Shadow the Hedgehog. We're still in a Sonic the Hedgehog themed video game, where we've had this suffer and succumb to so much edginess, so much cursing. And you know what the funny thing is? Because I'm probably never going to do a Let's Play of this game that I'm about to talk about here. In Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, which is the game that released the year after this, or I should say a game that released after this, because, you know, Sega was really hard on releasing multiple Sonic games a year in the mid-2000s, and the late 2000s too. They didn't start chilling out until the 2010s. But even Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 still had like a little bit of the lingering edge of Shadow the Hedgehog, because that game has cursing in it too, as I recall. I have never been able to beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 because of how poorly made that game is and how glitchy. Oh, but hey, welcome to The Last Way. So, did you enjoy Final Haunt in the Hero Path, or the Black Comet in the Semi-Dark Path? Yeah, this level's pretty much the same thing as those. In fact, one could argue it might be a combination of the two. But here, the gimmick here is that you need to defeat enemies to accumulate your Hero Bar, because obviously Shadow is all in on Hero at this point, whether he likes it or not. And you have to spam Chaos Control in order to make it to the end of the level within the 10-minute time limit. I'm pretty sure this level is so long, I'm pretty sure you can't get to the end before 10 minutes are up. Maybe you can. I never tried to do that because I'm not a masochist, and while I don't hate this game, I do think this game gets a lot more flack than it deserves, because quite frankly, this is better than Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 on an objective level. Not by much, I'm going to tell you this right now, not by much, but at least you can enjoy the cheesiness of Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow the Hedgehog is so bad that it's entertaining. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 is so bad that it can be entertaining in the right context. Like, if you're watching someone speedrun the game and completely breaking the glitches and whatnot. Other than that, not really. Not really. But, I guess you could say The Last Way is cathartic a little bit, because if you really enjoyed spamming Chaos Control in the other playthroughs you would have had to do to unlock this, because again, you have to play through the game 10 times, and then you get this, and you gotta do one more level and one more boss fight. You know, it can be kind of cathartic. I'm not gonna say this is a hard level. Oh, not by any stretch of the imagination, especially not with this being one of the first Sonic games to change up the health system to where you only lose 10 rings every time you get hit instead of all of them, which is pretty nice. Definitely makes more sense for a 3D game, I feel. Probably should have done that in the Sonic Adventure games, but hey, better late than never, alright? So, yeah, I mean, oh, well, I guess Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 does have something going for it over Shadow the Hedgehog. It's not as repetitive, because in that game, you only have to beat it 3 times, plus the last stories. Sonic story, Shadow story, Silver story, and then the last story, which I would say is mostly similar to this one. It's like one long level and then a boss. Same thing with the last story in Sonic Adventure 2, now I think about it. Sonic Adventure 1, funnily enough, is the only last story to not have a proper final level. It has like segments and then a final boss fight, which is pretty interesting to think about in retrospect. As of the recording of this Let's Play, I haven't actually done a Let's Play of the adventure games. I really would love to at some point, and they will almost certainly be live rather than post, so I do feel like I had to do it this way for Shadow the Hedgehog because of the way the game is structured. That way I can take advantage of this to edit out anything that we don't need to see for the millionth time, which is why all of these Let's Play episodes, well, mostly the second episode and onward, are all so condensed, as it were. And I can say that, and it probably won't be repetitive, because you might be skipping straight to the end, so again, I'm going to say hi, thanks for coming, all that stuff, but, yeah. You also get to use some really good weapons here. Some of the black arms weapons are really fun to use. The one that shoots laser rings, and this one that's like a sniper rifle, sort of. It looks like a sniper rifle, but it shoots like a shotgun almost. Something like that, I don't know. And then you just get so much hero energy. I don't even know where the dark energy is coming from, to be honest, because there's nothing in this level like related to gun or anything like that. So I don't even know like why. I guess because you're destroying the environmental stuff, it'll really accumulate in a level as long as this. I can tell you that. But yeah, you know, final thoughts on Shadow the Hedgehog. I really don't think Shadow the Hedgehog is a good game. No, it's the worst 3D Sonic game of its generation, which would include the Adventure duology, Sonic Heroes, and Shadow the Hedgehog. If Shadow the Hedgehog was based more on the Adventure 2 engine rather than the Sonic Heroes engine, it might control a little bit better, which would help. But, you know, Shadow controls like a slippery bar of soap sometimes, which on some levels it's not a big deal. On other levels, it is a big deal. It's very frustrating. And there is so much content in this game, which normally sounds like a good thing. But when it's a game this mediocre, not bad. A more accurate word for Shadow the Hedgehog is mediocre. Okay? Now I'll say, in a game this mediocre, to have as much content as it does is definitely bloat. Because, I don't know if I mentioned this before or not, this game technically has more than 300 endings. And all of these endings just constitute a seemingly random string of levels, cutscenes, and boss fights. Because of the number of levels and the number of different paths you can do, and the fact that all of the final levels each have 2 different endings, that results in over 300 different combinations. I don't even remember the exact count. I just know it's over 300. And like I said, you have to add in the cherry on top. That is the last wave. Like this level is already over 6 minutes in. Okay, we're almost at the end because you do get teleporters. You know, for all the good that does. Does this level seriously have keys to collect and all that stuff? Because if it does, all I can say to that is wow. All I can say to that is wow. So hey, you only get one level in the last story of Shadow the Hedgehog, but it's gonna fill you up. It's gonna give you your fill, or at least it should. But the only thing I like about this final level, besides the fact you get to use some really fun weapons with the black arms, you get the spam Chaos Control, which is nice. Also, apparently, you're gonna get Chaos Blast too. I don't even know if I use it or not. If I do use it, what the heck do I use it on? Or you could just take advantage of the Chaos Blast to give you infinite ammo. Oh, and we're already at the end. Well, ain't that a hoot? So, here we are, standoff with Black Doom. Fixing to do the final boss fight here in a little while. Before we do that, I guess I will let the rest of the cutscene play out because, you know, stay hydrated, ladies and gentlemen.
I've heard enough. You're boring me to death, Black Doom. You're going down.
Such bravado for a little hedgehog. I thought you were different from the rest, but maybe not. We are more alike than you think. The same blood runs through our veins.
This can't be. Just who are you?
Don't you know? You were created from my blood.
What?
That's right. You are a part of me. Do you feel that? I can control you. You cannot escape me, nor can you escape your past.
Damn you! No! It's not true!
SBO? Are you in yet?
Quiet, Charmy!
Oh, what did I just walk back into? Ah, freaking Vector the Crocodile, my man. I'm gonna say it. Find the computer room, Shadow! gotta give that one last send-off, why don't we? But this is where they find out more about Gerald Robotnik's backstory, I think. So, that's something. Yeah, look at that. That mustache. Yeah, because of the fact that Shadow had Black Doom's blood, that's why he was able to unfreeze himself from the gas earlier in the story. So, yeah, we get a confession from Joe Robotnik that kind of, I think it supposedly retcons some stuff from Sonic Adventure 2, because I think the implication in Adventure 2 is that he was a pretty vengeful individual. But this part in Shadow the Hedgehog paints him as a little more sympathetic, I think? I don't know, we should probably let this play up some more, but I don't know. Oh yeah, so he warns about the Black Comet. Because they totally had Shadow the Hedgehog's story in mind when they were working on Sonic Adventure 2's story. That's, of course. Although it is pretty interesting that Shadow the Hedgehog is kind of more of a Sonic Adventure 3 than Sonic Heroes was, because it follows up on the story of Adventure 2 a lot more than Heroes does. Sonic Heroes, looking back on it, feels a lot like a soft reboot, which, given that it was the first original Sonic game, or I should say the first original console Sonic game released ever since Sega went multi-platform, kinda makes sense. So maybe they wanted to do a game like that first, and then Shadow the Hedgehog essentially being Sonic Adventure 2-2. You know how like Final Fantasy does that, where they have like Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2, and then they did 13 and 13-2, and then they did a 13-3, but they didn't call it a 13-3. They just gave it a subtitle. God, that was dumb. If there's one weakness of Square Enix, it's the way they name some of their games. Good lord. Octopath Traveler. Project Triangle Strategy. Those are all real game names. Bravely Default 2. Why did I have to add the 2? Because it's a surprise they bothered to make a second one. Apparently the game sold pretty well. Anyway. There we go. You probably know what's going to happen at this point if you played either of the Sonic Adventure games. Heck, even Sonic Heroes ended in a similar fashion. The main character and or his entourage, well, that might be generous in the case of Tails and Knuckles in the ending of Sonic Heroes, get all of the Chaos Emeralds and transform into their super form, which in this case is it Super Shadow or Hyper Shadow? I've heard conflicting reports over the years, because as we all know, there is a Hypersonic, which requires 14 emeralds total. 7 regular, 7 super. Super emeralds, yes. Because they didn't think ripping off Dragon Ball Z one time was enough. They decided to do it twice. So welcome to Devil Doom, which is not the best boss fight in the world, but it's not the worst in the world. Basically, you're flying around and you're shooting projectiles, and you gotta aim for the side of the Devil Doom monstrosity that has the eye opened up and exposed for you to shoot on it, as it were. Sometimes he'll block. I think you can use Chaos Control to freeze time here, just like you can with the other boss fights. It might give you an opportunity to shoot him some more. I don't know if there's some shenanigans involved with that. And then I decided to freeze time when he went invisible, or something like that. Probably shouldn't have done that, but now the eye is exposed. So, can I hit him while he's... Oh, actually that does seem to kind of work, but I kind of flub it up, because moving around and floating. And I guess I decided to unfreeze time to be able to take advantage of the infinite ammo, which, to be honest, you can do that with either your hero bar or your dark bar. It might actually be better in this fight to not freeze time when you have a full bar, but just take advantage of the... oh wait, what am I talking about? Infinite ammo. We're not using guns. What am I talking about? Well, and technically, do you have invincibility? Because in your super forms, you usually don't really take damage. You're worried about your ring supply constantly counting down. which by the looks of it doesn't seem to be an issue at all for this fight, because I'm apparently able to keep over 100 greens pretty well here. And hey, we get to listen to I Am All of Me again for this fight, and that is a good song. Crush 40 knew how to kill it. Alright? And they did pretty much a lot of the music for this generation of Sonic games, the so-called Dreamcast era, as I think Sonic Generations puts it. But anyways, we're pretty much coming up to the end of this. We're halfway through the life bar of Devil Doom, so this was a nice way to wrap up the Let's Play Shadow the Hedgehog project. I wish I could have recorded all this a lot more cleanly and efficiently together. Unfortunately, there was a really long break in between this and the last one, but it is what it is, so if I repeat some points, I apologize, but it's not that big of a deal for this game in particular. I believe if I ever do another 3D Sonic game Let's Play after this, it will almost certainly be the original Sonic Adventure. It'll be interesting to see how I handle that with the 6 different stories, since they are all mandatory. But I will cross that bridge when I get to it, and my team, or the team here at the studio, whatever it's called at this point in time, we've shifted so much over the years, hoping we settle on what we have now, but we will have to wait and see on that. So, this has been Lasley. As always, it's been lovely commentating on a mediocre Sonic game. This will probably be like the only bad Sonic game, or mediocre one, whatever you want to call it, that I'm ever going to do a commentary for, so enjoy. I do think this game gets a little too much flack, but it's still a mediocre Sonic game, so c'est la vie, and see you some other point in time, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back and enjoy the ending of Shadow the Hedgehog, and next time, maybe we'll go on an adventure with the Blue Blur and his friends. See you next time. Sayonara, Devil Doom.
This is the end of you, and the end to my cursed past. Only one thing left to do. To put the past behind me. Chaos Control! Shadow, that was sweet.
I hope he's okay.
I'm sure he's fine, Rouge. After all, he is Shadow.
How about giving me back those Chaos Emeralds now? Hey! Get back here, you creep!
How ironic. After the way we all treated him, he saved us all in the end. We were all wrong about the Professor. Let us pay homage to Professor Gerald. Let's work to ensure peace and prosperity for a brighter future. What do you say, Commander?
Excellent idea, Mr. President.
Goodbye forever, Shadow the Hedgehog.